Okay, welcome to our board meeting for the second quarter of 2025. I call the meeting of the Board of Directors of Redox OS to order. When I state your name, please acknowledge your presence. I'm Ron Williams, I'm present. Jeremy Solar.
Present.
Alberto Souza.
Present.
We have a quorum. I would first like to note that Jacob Schneider has resigned as a director due to personal commitments. I would like to thank Jacob for his time as director. Moving forward, the minutes from the previous board meeting have been provided to you. Are there any corrections? I'm sorry, I'm getting network problems. I'm going to turn off my video.
Yep.
Okay. Can you, Jeremy, do you mind posting the link for the minutes from the previous meeting?
Sure.
In the boardroom?
Okay.
Okay. The minutes from the previous board meeting have been provided. Are there any corrections? If there's no corrections, the minutes are approved as distributed. Can I get a motion to discuss our financial status?
Moved.
Second.
So the 2024 financial report is almost ready for review. There were several things that I had to make changes to versus the previous draft. So I'll give that to you in the coming days, and we can get that reviewed and approved. Even though it's not formally required, I want to establish continuity in our financial reporting. And once we start receiving donations over $50,000 total, we're going to need to start reporting more information. So this is going to be important for the continuity of that reporting. We also need to make a spot for our financials and governments documents on the website. Right now it's available in the nonprofit GitLab, but I think that we should have a link somewhere on the homepage that can take you to those documents directly. So there's a couple of bookkeeping notes regarding the finances, or the 2025 first quarter financial summary is also pending, so that will be updated in the next few days, and we'll get that reviewed. So there's a couple of bookkeeping notes. First, I want to note that I had previously been accounting for cryptocurrencies and donations from RadWorks incorrectly. I was double counting the RadWorks donations, and I knew it was a little bit off, but I think I've now got that cleared up. So that will be a significant change from the last, the 2024 December report. The next point is that we had accumulated quite a few donations in DonorBox. That was pretty substantial. Jeremy, do you know what the total was that
It was
we
about
transferred it?
it was about $10,500.
Okay, so that has been made in a series of donations over time. So I need to update the financial report to show when the donations were received so that they match with the quarters. Also that the problem with the donations getting moved into our bank account has been resolved. So that will also help with both the reporting and having access to the donated funds more immediately. So the financial reports going forward will reflect the correct donations, with the past donations being shown in the past reports, and the current donations showing up on a quarterly basis. So quick summary of where we're at today. Our current bank balance as of June 16th is roughly 22,500 USD. And we have crypto assets of around 4,500. We have about $600 owing on our credit card. Are there any questions about the financial status and reporting? Okay, next thing is that Redox has now received its 501c4 tax status. So we're officially a nonprofit from the US federal tax point of view. So we're not a full charity. That would be a 501c3 charity. But that won't make much of a difference to our donors. That primarily affects large donations from individuals. Corporations can still deduct donations to Redox. And one major benefit is that under certain circumstances, we can accept donations of stocks or mutual funds or cryptocurrencies that have appreciated in value since the donor purchased them, and the donor doesn't have to pay capital gains on the increase in value since their purchase. So they're donated to us from the donor's perspective at their purchase price. And then when we exchange them for cash, the capital gains appear on our balance sheet, but there's no tax associated with that. So now, in order to enable, now, Jeremy, I just want to confirm that that's your understanding as well.
Yes. So as a 501c4, we're exempt from capital gains tax. And by receiving an asset, any asset, whether it's stocks, mutual funds, cryptocurrency, property, that asset's appreciation would normally be taxed. Also, before, if we were to receive a gift, the donor would usually have to pay the tax on that gift. So these are things that, as a 501c4 tax-exempt nonprofit, we can reduce the burden on our donors. And the difference between 501c4 and 501c3 is mainly, like you said, the ability to deduct it for income tax purposes. And so we don't see that as being a major concern. Most of our donations, I don't think, will add up to the point where an individual would actually be able to benefit from deducting them from their income tax.
Thank you. And just a reminder to anybody listening that we are not providing any tax advice. You need to do your own research about your own situation. So now, in order to enable Redox to be able to accept donations of stocks and shares, we will need to open a trading account. Can I get a motion that the treasurer be approved to open a trading account for the purpose of accepting and managing donations of shares?
Move.
Seconded?
It's moved and seconded that the treasurer be approved to open a trading account for the purpose of accepting and managing donations of shares. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.
Aye.
It's resolved that the treasurer is approved to open a trading account for the purpose of accepting and managing donations of shares. Can I get a motion to discuss development activities and planning?
Moved.
Seconded.
So I want to sort of divide the discussion into community development work, which is not funded, and then the funded work. The first thing is I want to thank our many contributors. We're seeing continued growth in the number of contributors. We're seeing lots of progress in lots of different areas. and those contributions are being reflected in our monthly reports. Jeremy, I just want to confirm that, because I'm getting notices that the video is being paused due to network problems. Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, good. So thanks again to our contributors. It's really making huge strides for Redox. So since the primary focus of the nonprofit is to help with funding of development, I want to focus the details of the discussion on funded development activities. So we have one project funded by NLNet that is nearing completion. It involved a rewrite of signals and process management with 4DLO2 as the designer and primary developer. His work has gone extremely well. Our signal handling and process lifecycle have really improved. And so that's been tremendous. I took on the testing portion of the project with some assistance from my son Josh, and that work is also funded by NLNet. I've been struggling with my part of the work for various reasons. You know, lots of distractions, but also I keep running into things that are slightly outside the scope of work that are hindering me. So I need to kind of go back and identify all of the issues that are blocking my progress. We have about 6 weeks available to us to finish the work. 4DLO2 is going to be picking up some of the work that I have been stalled on. So there was a substantial amount of funding that was to be directed towards the Redox nonprofit that was for the work that I was doing, and also the work that my son Joshua was doing. 4DLO2 is going to be picking up some of that work. He is working full-time at a different job, so he'll be picking up what he can in his spare time, and so I want to redirect a chunk of the funding to him for taking on some of that work. So I just want to confirm with both of you that there's no concerns with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, thanks. We have we've started 4 Summer of Code projects this year. One of them happened in January, February. These were all completed. Sorry, these are all being funded from donations to the nonprofit. So dynamic linking for Redox was completed in February by Anad, and that is now incorporated into the build system. Ibuki is developing file descriptor sending for Unix domain sockets. He's been making tremendous progress. The essential functionality has been completed and it's ready for review and merging. Now, one of the stretch goals for his work is to separate file descriptors into the application visible file descriptors, what I call the POSIX file descriptors, and then the relibc internal file descriptors. So I've asked him to not work on that yet because that work is potentially covered by an NLNet grant that we have applied for and we're waiting for approval for. I'm hoping that we're able to synchronize those things so that that work is covered by the NLNet grant. So that's on hold right now. I've asked him to just wait on that. But Jeremy, I'd like you to connect with Ibuki and make sure that he's spending the time that he has available working on the right priorities. So I'm not sure how many of our stretch goals he's going to be able to cover off, but he seems to be very well progressed through his work. So,
Yeah.
Jeremy, I'm wondering if you can just sync up with him. Thanks very much.
Sure.
But it's great that he's has been able to tackle such an important thing and do a great job with it. Andrew is going to be working on SpiderMonkey and the servo browser. So he's just started, I think, or is in the process of starting on that work. Some work was done previously by another contributor on servo, so he's picking up that work as well and trying to carry the whole thing forward. And Jeremy, I think you were working on the WebKit GTK, yeah, and I think you got blocked by some of the virtual machine issues. So I think Andrew's gonna have to pick that up and solve that for SpiderMonkey. So maybe there's a way to make that work together.
Yep.
Charlie is working on the service monitor for Redox daemons. That's a carry forward from the work that was done with Georgia Tech, and Charlie is a member of the Georgia Tech team. So we've spent about a month analyzing the system startup and trying to figure out how the service monitor can fit in, and there's just so many complexities that what we decided is just best to document all of that analysis in RFCs and say, here's where we're at, and here's where we need to create hooks for the service monitor. So the main focus of that project going forward is now going to be on gathering statistics and sort of heartbeat monitoring of daemons, and he's going to focus on adding statistics gathering to Redox FS and to the NVMe daemon, so that we can just see how many read and write operations and so on are actually happening and how they match up between the two drivers. Jeremy, I want to get your input on that. I sent you a description of work, and so we'll be reviewing that hopefully in the next couple of days.
Yep.
Okay. Now, we hope to build a small team of developers over the next few months, possibly up to 3 people, depending on the timing and various grants, the timing of the grants that we have applied for, and the donations that we receive. There's a lot of balancing of risks and opportunities that have to take place because of when grants get approved, when grant money gets received, and so on. It's a very complicated sequence, and so we have to be very careful about how rapidly we grow the team to match with the sequencing of grants. We have 3 proposals to NLNet right now. If all of the proposals are accepted, then we would be able to fund 1 person full-time for several months, as well as continuing with some of the work that for LDO2 has proposed. So these particular projects are focused on containers and cloud type functionality, as well as performance issues around cloud functionality. So we hope to find additional grants to cover another person full-time, but that's going to be several months down the road. So again, NLNet is one place that we'll be applying. We'll be applying to other places as well for grants, but we'll have an ongoing discussion about risk and whether or not we're able to bring on a second person for the grants. And then, Jeremy, do you want to talk briefly about the donations you've received in the past and what we might do with those?
Yeah, we received a $400,000 donation before the creation of the nonprofit that was part of the reason I created the nonprofit. It was blocked by government sanctions on Tornado Cash. The donor used Tornado Cash not for illegal reasons, but for privacy reasons. And the sanctions, after talking with a few lawyers, it appears that the sanctions were primarily to prevent the movement of money from North Korea and Russia. And so it's been a difficult thing because we've had to keep it according to the sanctions requirements, which is to have it in an interest-bearing account and not to transfer it. But now the sanctions are gone, and so that money can be transferred. And I intend to use it to fund development items that are large scale and where we can't acquire grants from other places. So if we're having issues getting a grant for something from NLNet or other sources, we can use that money to fund our development costs. And we can also fill in the potential gaps for full-time developers with that money. The gaps between grants, I mean. Yeah.
So that's, again, we're in this complicated dance with risk versus the opportunity that the grants are providing. And these donations could potentially help with both cash flow and providing a float if we need to support a developer. So the whole situation is cleared up now. So we
and
we
I would state, Ron, I want to state a little bit more. So the Treasury Department released a statement in March, and the reason why this is cleared up is that they have dropped the sanctions against Tornado Cash as a full DeFi application. So distributed, or what is DeFi? Ribbon probably knows. But they've dropped it against that as a program running on the Ethereum network, and instead they've instated sanctions against exact users of that protocol. So the sanctions are against the People's Republic of Korea, so North Korea, not against Tornado Cash as a DeFi application, after the relabeling in March 21st.
Jeremy, DeFi means decentralized finance.
Right, yeah. So Tornado Cash is an application running on the Ethereum network that allows a user to put Ethereum in and then have Ethereum distributed to another address without linking the two addresses. And so it has been used for money laundering by North Korea, but it's also been used for legitimate purposes. And now the Treasury Department is separating those two out into separate legal domains. So it's legal to use Tornado Cash so long as it's not being used to fund illegal activity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so the timing of us hiring an employee to take advantage of that grant, the donation money, is still to be determined as we sort through the timing of grants and that sort of thing. So one of the things that we can prioritize with that money is helping move Redox towards being in an alpha-ready state, which is something that would be hard to otherwise get grants for. So just summing up, the plan is roughly that we're going to have one developer to work on cloud-related projects as soon as we can sort out the immediate issues with our upcoming grants, and then a second developer for cloud-related projects, hopefully starting 2 or 3 months down the road, again, completely dependent on the timing of grants and whether or not those grants are actually given to us. And then a third developer that we could fund from our own pool of money and the money that Jeremy will be donating. Again, timing to be determined based on risk assessment. We've been advertising that we have a position available. We've received a small number of applications. For privacy reasons, I don't want to talk about the current status of those applications. But at this time, I don't want to move forward with requesting more applications until we hear more from NLNet about our current grant status. Are there any questions or concerns about the development status? Okay, if there's no questions, we'll revisit that topic when we have more clarity with respect to the grant situation. Can I get a motion to discuss other action items?
Moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. So the following action items have been previously identified, and if you have anything to report on any of these items, please let me know. So in terms of coordinating contributors, I was going to try to use GitLab projects to identify bigger chunks of work that we could potentially have multiple people collaborate on. I just have not had time to do that. I'm still interested in doing that, but the soonest that would happen would be in September from my point of view. I'm not able to focus on that before then. If we were able to find somebody in the community that wants to do a little bit of project coordination, then that would be awesome, and then we can try and make that happen. The website, so we need to revive the work that was previously done by Jacob and update the website. I think it's a bit of a priority because we do need to do a better job of recognizing our donors and our grant providers. So, excuse me. So we're going to have to find a way to get that done. That's I'm going to take that as an action item. Again, it's going to be a bit of a struggle to make progress on that in the next couple of months, unless there's somebody in the community that steps up to take that on. Trademark. Jeremy, you were going to draft a Redox trademark document based on Cosmix. Are you still planning to do that?
Yes.
Okay. I have an action item to do the 2024 financials. That's mostly done. I hope to have that done in the next few days, and we'll get that at least into the nonprofit repo as soon as possible, and hopefully get that posted on the website soon. And then we need a development plan. There's an action item on myself and Jeremy to update this. Once we have feedback from NLNet, we need to lay out our priorities and use that both to make more proposals for grants and also to identify specific work that we want to have done by paid developers. And more broadly, the community will be more efficient if they know what our priorities are. So that's something that we should do very soon. Are there any new action items?
We are looking for another board member.
Yes, at least one more. So that there was a notice that we posted to request new board members that was in the announcements room, and it was on our newsletter, and we did not receive any input from anybody. Nobody identified themselves as being interested in that role at this time. So I'm not sure what the next step should be to identify more board members. Um, Alberto has identified a potential board member, but that's not someone that's a Redox contributor. So we need to decide whether we're open to accepting people who are not Redox contributors as board members. I also am aware of someone that could potentially be a board member, but again, not a Redox contributor, so I'm reluctant to suggest them. You have any thoughts, Jeremy? Did you want to add to that? Or?
Yeah, we do need to look outside the Redox community. I think most of the people who are contributing now are doing so in their free time, and I think for a board member, they don't have to be a contributor. It's kind of a different set of skills.
Yes. Okay, so I have a few ideas. Alberto has a suggestion as well. We should. I think I'm going to pursue a couple of my ideas and see if I can identify some potential board members, and we'll just have to play it by ear a little bit. Maybe establish some criteria for how we would know that this is a good person to add to the board.
Yeah.
Okay. If there's no other items for the for our list of action items, I'd like to propose the following agenda for the next board meeting to take place no later than September 30th. So there'll be the approval of the minutes for this meeting, a report on our fundraising activities, report on development, hiring, that sort of thing, review the action items, and then is there any other business that we want to discuss at this time? Okay, if there's no other business, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Seconded.
Okay, it's moved and seconded that we adjourn. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. The meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.